had a chat with the gals running the office, and they're very, very, very nice. I think I already mentioned that. They're super nice, but in my frustration, I was like, you know, they go, yeah, we can't give you the footage. Part of what they explained today, as I went back in there to show them the vehicle I believe is most likely involved in the theft. It's actually a Grand Cherokee, probably a 98 in golden color, because somebody's been circling us. But I went in to explain that to them, and we had a good talk. It sounds like they actually just don't have the login for the cameras. So it's not that they couldn't, you know, that wasn't terribly well explained. And I knew they had positive intent, but it was one of those things that I'm just frustrated. Jeez Louise, guys. Wow. Actually, we were talking about the geese as well. But I was a bit frustrated. And I think part of it is that, like, I explained on the live video, but I was expecting this out of an RV park and hoping it wouldn't happen. And then, of course, it did. And part of it as well is that the way that we live, you know, we move around so many days. We're really hard to track. Not impossible by any means, right? And, you know, we kind of turn it down, depending on if we're getting a lot of threats on YouTube or something like that. But it is one of those things that I really enjoy the moving around, and it has the side benefit of loud diesel. Has the side benefit of being that we have more security as a result, right? More privacy. And so whenever I typically hear a car door open or close, you go, "What's that?" You know. And I also explained, if you missed the live, we haven't had issues like this. I haven't had issues. So, you know, coming to an RV park where it's pretty, let's say, safe from, I doubt there's any real, you know, interpersonal crimes, you know, batteries, robberies, things like that. Hopefully, it didn't seem like there's anything like that. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of property crime, but it is, of course, possible. So it was frustrating to be expecting one thing, and you guys get it. So they were all, you know, it does sound like they're still working on getting access to the cameras. I guess somebody's off, maybe something like that. So they're emailing, and they'll update and say, hey, can you get a plate for this vehicle? And I explained that, like, we're working, I have one specific police officer that I'm working with that if I can get more information, they'll go ahead and pursue it. But there's no sense making a report for something they're not going to follow up on, right? Yeah, that's all good. But we got to talking, and one of the interesting things, we were talking about the geese, and they're like, yeah, the poop is not that bad right now, but it can get worse. You know, these geese are kind of wild, and they're so cocky. And I like geese, but they were like, look, if your dogs, if you can get your dogs to get them, feel free. And they're like, and then just chuck them into the woods, and the coyotes will get them, because for these guys, they're a nuisance as well. And so, Colt won't do a damn thing. Samantha will chase a bird, but doesn't know what to do. But hey, we got a green light, I guess. If we're not gonna do nothing, but it was interesting because she said the bald eagle. There's a bald eagle that's around here, one or two, that they'll actually come and they will get the geese. I thought that was interesting, and not something I was expecting. But yeah, there's also owls out here. We have coyotes. There's a bobcat. So we have a bobcat friend we see every now and then. She's really, really pretty. You know, you've seen bobcats, and they're a little more skittish than the coyotes are, but we've heard a lot of coyotes around here. So we'll have to keep an eye out for some more wildlife. But giving a basically first month review, you know, I gotta say, the RV park, it's been exactly what I expected. The hookups are cool, but not necessary for us. We're spending way more money in fuel. We're spending way more money in, obviously, fees for parking, as compared to the last 9 years of not paying nothing, you know? So usually we're able to park closer and walk and or bike to work. So, you know, one of those things. But, you know, it's convenient for sure. But I feel less like I want to leave stuff. We may very well go to down south and get some equipment for solar in the next month. I believe it is. And I'm not gonna leave the bikes here, you know. And I definitely won't leave the trailer right here, you know. And we were talking about making a quick trip, so we'd just go rent a car. But it's like, man, now you got to figure out how to hook everything up and make it look like you're here, and, you know, timers and things like that. I don't like that stuff, you know. It feels like crap. But what can you do about it? Very little, frankly. You know, and ooh, aren't you pretty? Look at that bird. This is actually one of the ways that I was able to see patterns of people's driving by and what sort of behaviors at night. I've not caught any wildlife yet, but I did, you know, seeing RVs, they'll drive this way, even though it's a one-way. You're supposed to only go this way. They'll drive this way at night. Could have been somebody just like pulling in for the night or something, you know, whatever. Not supposed to do that. Did, when it was over under the wheel well, found a Jeep that was circling us. So I'm very much convinced this was, yeah, because it's not somebody from the park. So yeah, we're sort of establishing a baseline behavior set, and any abnormalities that should or should not exist, let's say, using a camera here. But we have other cameras, so that guy up there, you probably could figure out a way to hook that up for full-time, you know. Not something I'm interested in whatsoever. But we cannot, actually, I'll show you, because Emma was able to get one. I think she got all the cameras but only one cable, just because of how I have them routed in the bus. I'm like, go try to figure that out. So you can see this guy. This is one of the Wise cams. I mean, they're dirt cheap, right? This is one of the Pans, and you can see it's got little set waypoints, so it can swivel, do all of its whole thing. So I could say, I want you to look at there, then here, then onto the bed, and it'll do that. You can see it's moving. That's cool. They're not waterproof though. What is waterproof are these little guys here, and so these cost a little bit more. It's got a mount. I have not mounted it. We were usually just using Velcro and whatnot, but this has got a PIR sensor for motion and all that. It's got a spotlight. It's a pretty cool camera. It does have a built-in battery. The battery does not last long the way that I use the cameras, where basically they're watching all the time. So I don't like it just to record motion. I like to record everything, if that makes sense, in case it misses some motion. They will give you an alert and say, hey, this happened at this time, but then there's something called a cooldown period, where unless you pay extra for their fees, and I'm not using their nonsense there, it will say it will not give you a notification for the next like minute, 1 to 5 minutes, something like that, depending on the camera. So I don't play that nonsense. Now these are also waterproof. This one looks like hell, but it's just sticky residue. It's easy to clean off. These are also waterproof. This is the Wisecam V3, and there's a V4 that has even better resolution. We have a bunch of these, and these are right. You can pick these up, $20 right now. 20 bucks. It's 1080p, but you know, 20 bucks. This is what I'm thinking right here. Yeah, so I'm thinking like one like that. We can test this out actually. I got one cable. We'll go get the rest of them. Or ideally really up there, but I'd have to, you know, get on the ladder. But you know, we can try right here. And what I like about this is that you're really not going to see that from the front, and it kind of blends in. You know, it doesn't look that bad. We could Velcro it, and the Velcro will hold. I have 100% confidence in that Velcro. So we'll play around with this. The other thing I'm thinking about is actually putting the awning out. It needs to dry out anyways, and putting the Hobsco box back out and protecting the box, because you know it's very, very valuable, right? And seeing if those idiots will come and buy it, or pick it up rather. Well, first actually, let's put the awning out, see what opportunities we're working with here. This awning is the manual awning. We didn't want the electric awning, and it did take a little bit of getting used to, but I don't have it locked in up there. There's a little tiny lock up there, a little lever, just to show you that, a little lever right there, and if you pull that towards the camera, so towards you, that'll actually lock it in place, so it will not want to, you know, lock it closed. That's awesome. But let's go ahead and open this up. Almost forgot these little tabs. Let's pull that, and there's one on the other side as well, facing that direction, and then we'll pull that. Just to give you a better example of that switch, so This is right now in the open, and then you can move it over to the closed position, and it just locks that spring. So there we go. All right, and now, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move these guys. See these sliding tracks, and these will lock as well. So the way to release them is right here. So you can release that. So that's locked in. These also have little dials. Slide, lock, yep. They have little dials right here. You can stop these from spinning. I'm gonna leave these open for now. We can reach them later. And then, you see this handle? So this is a lot more complex, technically speaking, than the electric, but if you think this is complex, try troubleshooting one of these. So I'm gonna pull this out. Try troubleshooting one of the electric ones. Yeah, not as, there we go. And lock into place. So with this guy, you can actually see, as I lift this out, it'll drop this pin right here, it'll pull it, and then it locks into each of these channels. So the great news about this is it's already kind of slanted anyway, so we don't have to worry about it. But you can slant one side or the other, and you can also, I'm sure there's a way you can disconnect this if you so choose. Yeah, you can see that. You just disconnect this, drop it into the ground, and then stake it down. That'll make it more sturdy. Or you can leave that point, and take a tie, a cable, and run that into a stake into the ground. So then you have 3 points of contact, preventing too many issues, And then if you want to, you can of course add a light under there. But yeah, these lights are not bright enough for my taste, so I'll be adding something there. Bring this out. Obstacle bike box, at least, and then here's, set that over here. So I mean, it's pretty obvious, but if you're just a thief, you might overlook that, right? Because you're an idiot that steals people's bikes. And we can go ahead and remove this, and then I'm gonna see about setting, look, what does it look like? Am I even able to set, because we have a flat USB cable, very nice flat cable. It's not very expensive. You buy like a 3-pack for 10 bucks or something like that, 15 bucks maybe. And then this is a micro USB over here, and then there's type A on this side. So I think we can run that right through there. Let's see what that looks like. It's in there. That's perfect, actually. Okay, so I have this. Usually there'd be a light. You can actually disable that, which again, for a $20 camera, pretty good. I'm thinking right here, I'd like to, I mean, if there's a will, there's a way. I'd like to have this kind of angle, do you see? Like that would be ideal. But even, I mean, this is perfect. We have a white version of this cable anyways. Or I might pick one up if we need to. But, you know, really, right down there and out that way. That would be ideal, wouldn't it? Yep. And then see, these acrylic windows, right? Perfect, right? We could put one right here. And just the white cable, right? I kind of like the black cable too. Yeah, those aren't going nowhere. And being that they're at the bottom, right? You'd think, okay, well, what about water? Water would come down here and then follow it along. If you put it at the top, you know, there's a possibility, you know, it lets it in, but there is a gasket there. Looks like left. So no, that looks pretty all right. If we go ahead, okay. Yeah, you can see here. So as we move this up, definitely not the highest quality, but you know, I can move it over here. If we were to put it on the awning arm, it would look like this, but you'd at least get an image, right? Because you can always correct that later. Hey, even this doesn't look so bad right there, does it? You know, or I mean, I guess you could just Velcro it. I don't know. That doesn't seem stable because, you know, but there's options. And this is, we usually have 360 cover. We just have them inside. You know, okay, well, where are the USB ports? Oh, that's the beauty of it. There's one right here. There's one right there, right next to the windows. And then you go, well, what about this one? Well, they did a great job. There's USB right here. We're actually using that to power this little guy. All that to say, we have options. And so, yeah, that's pretty cool. And then we can get, watch out, buddy. we can either, you see all this extra cable here, we can either, oof, you know, tie this up pretty nice and neat, because this one's plugged in just right there. And again, we have one over there, you know, on Emma's side. Bundle them up, plug them in like that, or get shorter cables, just measure what we need. I'm loving that idea. You know, I might throw some Velcro here on this in just a second. Yeah, because look, that's not that intrusive, is it? No, maybe even up there. Look at that. Yeah, that should clear that, no problem. You can see how that's routed. You just pull this these away, and there's just some tabs there. You can route a cable under that. That doesn't look too bad, does it? Got a little Velcro there. It's plugged in. It sees me. Being that it's Velcro, I can also adjust it. But yeah, looks all right. I mean, you're only getting 50% image, but man, it is what it is. And what else do we have? Let's see. Yeah, you can see that's kind of routed in here. Again, a smaller cable would be nice, but you know, bigger cable, it's not that intrusive. I can just send that up right there. That doesn't look bad whatsoever. And you know, again, all modular, so I can upgrade. You know, if we upgrade these cameras, you know, we can do a little mount out there. Let's see. I'm gonna lock this into the shortest position. There we go. Okay. Okay. Does it? Look at that. Nothing to it. Ha! And can we? Okay. Yeah. I really don't think that looks too bad. What do you guys think? Look too bad? No. That looks great. Honestly, I'm really impressed. I impressed myself. You know what? And just for shits and giggles, I got that one there that shoots towards the door, and this would be good for traffic as well. You know, if somebody hits us, or you know, if we hit something, we can at least see what's going on, right? Right there. I'll do something probably similar on that side. So anything here we'll see, identical on the other side, and then we'll probably, you know, I could throw a splitter into that. I bet you. Definitely put a splitter into that. Put one right here. That's a good idea, if I do say so. Look at that. Okay. And then let me run on out of the back. We'll see what that looks like. Oh, I also got these little, we have had these for a long time. These little tiny lights here. Ooh, I guess they're brighter than I thought, but they're not big enough. I want good, big, bright lights. These are, I mean, how am I gonna knock these? These are okay. They're okay. There's a company called Nilight, N-I-L-I-G-H-T. I'll link in the pinned comment if I remember. I'll link some of their nice metal lights, which might use those to replace these. I think they look a little nicer and, you know, metal, but we'll wait for these, of course. I like that these have individual controls, but I also don't love the idea that somebody could just come along and go click. I'm gonna head off to storage here, but I just want to point this out again. We'll see if those idiots take that box. But yeah, you really don't even notice it. Like, if you were just panning around, you wouldn't even see that. How cool is that, man? I don't know. What do you guys think? That's pretty sick. Yeah, definitely gonna add another one right here, and then another. We'll get a splitter. We'll get a splitter of some sort. Maybe, I mean, we could just use the little splitter that we already have, the 120. I just don't like the idea of converting it down, you know. But yeah, we'll drop one. I just set it right here, or I mean, up here is fine as well. You know, right there. That'd be fine, right? I don't know. We just got to figure out, you know, a decent tape to run along so that, or maybe even go underneath the bed and then up. Because, you know, sometimes you lean against this back wall. You don't want to be pulling the cable and such. Yes. But one right here would be good, you know. Even if, again, even if it's only 50%, it's like, you know, if somebody's actually in here messing with something, it'll catch. Fiddling around with this gives me some, it makes me feel better. You know, this is something we should have done, but we've been a little lazy and busy, very busy, but also lazy. Could have taken a few minutes at, you know, each night or whatever. I don't know. Also, I think it was Gypsy Bewitched that asked what the percentage of this tint is, and if I had to guess, if this, say this is 100 and 0 is black, right? I would guess, because this is a silver reflective in there, this is maybe, it's only letting like 40% of transmissible light, somewhere between 40 and 60, closer to 40 though. I think it's actually because it's 2 pieces of tinted acrylic, so that's, if I had to guess. Yeah, well, and that might even be generous. No, 40. No, 40's probably right. 40's probably right. Look at the baby ducks, oh, little cuties. Look at them. Oh, they're red. Oh, I scared them. I didn't mean to. The geese here, hanging out with the ducks. They're all friends here. How funny is that? Maybe they're protectors. They work together to find food. And the geese do the hard work, I suspect. Hey, look. It's Lenny's maybe slightly younger cousin. Sibling. Oh, that's a smelly bus. Oh, man. Oh, no, that one looks a little, almost older than Lenny. Based on the light style. This is a Christian school bus. Interesting. It smells a little stronger than Lenny, too. Oh, yeah, definitely older. But that is a T, looks like a T2000 if I'm not mistaken. TC2000. Huh. Lenny the bus, yo son of a gun. Beautiful bus. Whew. Ah, love this bus. I think we need to get under cover too, but we're gonna get another one of these. They have an upgraded version that will, instead of, I think it's 75 pounds per slot, there'll be about 100 pounds per slot. Is what it's rated for. It's a new Super Duty. Yeah, we'll get one of those racks. We were thinking about going with the Extreme Duty, but and they'll do up to 150 per. I don't think that's necessary, honestly. Also, yep. Grab some of these. Oh, dang, how did I do this? Oh, I velcroed them together. Okay. Now I see why she was having some trouble. Man, there's a lot of dog fur in here. Sheesh. We need to sweep. The other day, somebody commented and they said, well, why don't you get rid of Lenny? And I get the idea, right? It's like, why have an extra expense? But the thing is that we love Lenny. And Lenny's effective at being a home. Like, there's no doubt about it. You know, he's not the most insulated, right? But your opportunities change when it's stationary. You know, so we've designed this in such a way, you know, and didn't actually finish everything out, but like pretty well, where if we need to be mobile, it's a very good mobile spot. You know, it's pretty decent for what it is. Other than the fact that, of course, an old bus is going to have some old bus issues, you know, mechanical things and whatever. And we love Lenny, but I got to say, we have other plans for Lenny. So we could try to sell him. We wouldn't get much for him. You know, unfinished, like, who's going to buy an unfinished bus? Or we can just use them the way that we plan in the future. And we're gonna, you know, like we're gonna redo the ceiling and some other things. I've rewatched time and time again how people do these ceilings, and yeah, I think that we just didn't use maybe the right materials or something, or it wasn't the right technique, or you know, it could have been that it was too cold or whatever. But the stationary things change a lot. They change a whole lot. So no, he's gonna be. We're gonna change it up, and he's still. I mean, there's a lot to do, but it's just a bus. So, you know, there's only so much, there's finite space, and when you don't have to worry about things twisting and turning, you don't end up with things like these guys that came unglued and unstapled, right? Or brad nailed, whatever. So, yeah, you guys have sent in a lot of license plates as well, and I love that. Thank you again. We're going to use them. It's just going to be some time. And so right now we're in a particular mode where we're working on a much larger project that will lend itself very well to Lenny the bus. I'll explain all of that in the future, but we don't want to count any chickens before they hatch, sort of thing. So anyways, let me find these damn USB cables and pull these out real quick. There's nothing cooler though, I think. For the most part, there's nothing cooler than a damn schoolie though. So yeah, a lot of folks think we gave up. We did not give up, and there's also folks that we should get rid of it. We're not getting rid of it. I love buses. There's something weird. I'm a weirdo. I love buses, and I love Lenny. Also, if you haven't seen these are little smart plugs. So there are little adapters that you can get. This one is by Smart Troll, like control. So basically, there's a little app, and you can set certain parameters, whether it's time, whether it's timed, like 15 minutes every hour or something like that. You know, you see there's a little adapter you can get for this one that plugs into USB-C that will base on motion. And just imagine how interesting you could make it if if you have the one time, because you have a plug on the outside of your rig probably, right? You go ahead and you have this guy. Maybe it's dead silent, someone tries sneaking up, right? All of a sudden, you got an extension cable, power strip, right? All of a sudden you turn on all sorts of stuff when it detects motion. That's pretty interesting. I was talking to the RV park ladies. Again, they're so cool. I just a little frustrated. I was talking to those guys about like setting up basically a booby trap and like an alarm. Because with the Wise cameras, if it detects a person specifically, say I have it set that it detects a person between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m., it will set off the alarm. But not only will it set off the alarm on the camera, right, but it sets off all alarms. You can imagine how loud that would be. That's very interesting, But they were actually looking, they're like, okay, that's a great idea. And I was like, I don't want to piss off the neighbors. And they're like, no, I think people would really appreciate, you know, somebody taking some steps to keep things safer. You know, taking some steps to secure property. They think it's a great idea. So, anyways, I thought that was kind of cool. So they're all about it. And I was like, you know, we were talking about like booby trapping and we got into personal protective devices, and they think they're like, yeah, man, do what you got to do. Well, they're cool. So hopefully they come up with a license plate that these cameras did not capture. This one camera, I should say, that I have right now did not capture. I'm also going to actually move. I think I'm going to take that one that's battery powered. I'm going to move that across the way and get all angles, because I think that person's revisiting. That's my thinking on it. We'll see. Right now I've got the box out by the edge, so we'll see if somebody picks it up. Anyways, this is a long video. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.